Today's video, what I'm going to be doing is building my personal arrows. They are not a crazy heavy arrow setup. We are adding a little bit of brass to the front of them. This is going to be going on this Matthews Traverse, and we're at 70 pounds. And what we're going to do is we're going to set them up for this bow. So you're going to see my entire tune process for my personal bow. I have already set up my rest. I still got to put my sight on and my peep, but I did mark my peep in here with this blue, and then I run a kisser for when I'm hunting. It's just one of those things. Now what I'm going to do is kind of explain my arrows. We run a 4-fletch. I don't ever do this with customers' arrows. We always start with a bare shaft and start the tune and see what we need to do to it. But on mine, we've already added the wrap and the 4-fletched vanes to it. If I start to get too stiff of a tear, then we'll change that up. It's not that hard to do. As I'm setting my arrows up, I always leave one arrow without any vanes on it, okay? I'm going to get both of these arrows hitting together. For this particular year, for the most part, I'm going to be shooting a standard, just mechanical broadhead, but I will go ahead and broadhead tune it to a big 2-blade broadhead, because I've learned that once I do that, my arrows fly really, really well. I'm going to go ahead and paper tune it, but to be honest with you, I rarely do that when I'm broadhead tuning, because if I'm going to broadhead tune, they're going to tell me what's going on with my arrows anyways. I don't think that it saves you any time, but to each his own. So we're going to build my arrows. So I'm going to start with my Easton Axis. These are 5mm and they're 300, so the match grades, I'm a big fan of these. And one thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to have Cade grab our scale, because for some reason when we were setting up for this, I lost it. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and show you just a little difference here in what our weight winds up being. This arrow, from where I'm going to measure from the tip of the knot, not the actual knocking point. These are right at 29 inches long, okay? So I'm just going to weigh it without vanes. And we are 313.9 grams. Now I'm going to weigh with our wrap and our 4-fletch. And we go to 346. So I'm going to do that one more time for you. The bare shaft is 314. With the vanes, we're looking at 345, so you're looking, around 30 grains or so on there, okay? That's a lot of weight, so we'll just do a comparison. So here's our wrap. This is a reflective wrap. That's 14 grains. One vane, 6.2, 2 vanes, 12.2, 18.4 on 3, and 4 vanes is 24.2. Now let's talk about that. We took that weight up there. We know the 100 grain head is going to add weight. So simply by coming in here, so we'd be at 445. What I'm going to do now, sorry people, bear with me for a second, is these are Easton brass inserts. They're weighted, and you can take these and you can change them from 75 to 50, and what I'm going to do is I'm only going to use the 75. So I come in here and I just it's pretty simple. You break the end off. And just to be clear, with my bow and the speed that I'm going to get out of it and everything that I'm hunting, I don't need to do this for anything. I don't think it's going to be an advantage for me. I think with a 100 grain head and a 17 grain insert, 16 grain insert, I would be completely fine, because you'd be at 340 or 445, I think there. We'd be at a really good arrow all along. I'm going to run these in mine. And I'm going to run one with a regular one, just so we can see how it affects our spine, but I want you to tag along with me on this process. So the hit process of putting the hit inserts into the vanes, or sorry, into the arrows, pretty simple. We like to use this Easton glue. It's not the epoxy that comes with them, but it's a little bit easier to work with. Let me go ahead and make sure. Again, these are all at 29 inches. So what I'm going to do is I like to cheat a little bit and start with it on the green pusher. And I see a lot of people use a ton of glue. There's absolutely no need in using a ton of glue. Just a little bit, because it all pushes forward. Always start at the bottom of the insert. Then as I'm going on there, I kind of twist it like that and keep it going, and then push. And you'll see a lot of people that just yank that out of the arrow. And what it does, it creates a suction and pulls the insert out. So all I'm doing is slowly taking that. So let's weigh it now that we have that brass insert in. $365. So it's a little bit off of what it says it's going to be on the package. No, that'd be right. And then, so this one's at 346. We're going to add the 75 grains to it. Again, this is your fleshed arrow. One thing is, if you use these, you'll see that the carpet over here has to get replaced often because we wipe that glue off. If you leave the glue on, it may get stuck inside those Easton axes. I'm just giving you a few tips to be a little bit more efficient with them. So just the glue down here at the bottom of it. So this last arrow, we're just going to start with these 3 arrows, okay everyone? Go ahead and snap it. This scales off about 1.4 right now, just a heads up everybody. So that drops from the about 50 grains when you take that back 25 grains off the little end on them. They also make some that are a little bit heavier if you want to do that, if you're crazy about all that weight. But I'll explain this to you as I set up the black gold that I'm putting on this side. I'm sorry, on this bow. Is I want just enough kinetic energy that I'm going to kill whatever animal I'm hitting, but my pin gaps aren't 4 foot apart. See, a lot of guys nowadays are wanting me to run crazy heavy arrows for them, but their bows slow down so much that their pin gaps are massive. And if you're going after antelope or something like that, there's not really a point in not being able to use your entire sight. So now all I'm going to do is you're going to see me grab some 100 grain field points, and our next step will be simply setting the sight up on my bow, and then we'll get to the range and start tuning the bow to the arrows. Alright, I'm hoping y'all can see that. Kate, can y'all get all that in the film? Okay. One thing that we do with these bows, when we set them up, is I just come in here, or Kate, or whatever, and we run a laser down the side, and we run the laser, screws into your sight holes, and then you run it from the tip down the center of the arrow, and it should match up to your peak. Okay? Still good, Kate? Still got good? Okay. All we do here is we come in and you make sure your bow is 100% level as you can be. I like the Hamsky stuff. This particular is a K-Tech level. And before I'll put my sight on, I want it level, and then I can start working on the other parts of leveling out the bow. You'll see that down in another video of how we do our 3rd axis leveling. Okay, I think there's a lot of people that are confused on that. Okay, now that we're ready to set up our sight, I'm setting up a black gold Ascent Verdict 5-pin. The reason I shoot a 5-pin is because I like my 20 through 60 to be there. I don't want to think about having to rover I don't want to think about having to do anything else. If you want to know more about setting up the black gold Ascent verdicts, make sure you check out our other video, black gold Ascent verdict setup. So right now I'm going to simply install with 2 screws. Again, guys, I know that we're at the age where everybody's wanting to do this at home. It may sound fun, but if you want it done right and you're not quite sure, go ahead and take it into your shop. But at least now you kind of know what to be looking for and how we set up bows. We're kind of a no bullcrap shop, and you'll hear that about us a lot. We're opinionated, but we're not going to sell you a bunch of bullcrap, and we're going to allow you to go on your hunt and be successful. So right now we're going to put this on and we're going to head to the range. Just know that I'm going to show you in our other video how we level out the sight and make it 100% perfect before we go trying to sight the bow in. It's very important. So that's on the black gold Ascent verdict setup. We're going to show you how to do third axis, first axis and second axis, and the third axis. So make sure you check out that video. Now we're going to head to the range.